Hello, everyone, and welcome to the maiden episode of Reagan and Dan's Movie Sessions. Now, you might know us previously as the Real Podcasters. That's done now. I've decided there's too much of a change that I want to do with this channel, so I thought we're going to have to do a bit of a rebrand, and luckily, this name can't have been taken because there's no one with our names, quite frankly, so I don't need to worry about that one this time.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody as oddball as we are.
Not really, no. My name's Reagan, if that wasn't obvious, and with me on the couch for the first time in a very long time, it's Dan.
Hi, when actually was the last time? Was it Dog Soldiers?
Well, conveniently, probably, yes.
That's the last time I remember because the sofa was over there. Not that
Yeah.
people can see, but you know.
No, there's definitely no images on this one. So funny enough, on the last version of this podcast, we did do a film commentary about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah, gotta be. Yeah.
On Dog Soldiers. So we quite enjoyed that, and I'd been kind of umming and ahhing as to what sort of stuff to do going forward, and I thought, you know what, I'd quite like to do some more commentaries because we did enjoy it the last time.
Yeah, we did.
So I thought, yeah, we've got a bunch of movies, so that's what we're going to be doing. And conveniently enough, we're going to be kicking things off with what was really the focal point of the very first episode
Yeah, I
of
was
the
gonna
original
say.
podcast.
It's almost like we're rebooting.
Yeah, almost, yeah. Yeah, the reboot podcasters. Which, all of a sudden, we could have called it that.
The real rebooters.
The real podcasters reboot.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Anyway, yeah, we're going to be doing a movie commentary on Spider-Man No Way Home. So it's been about a year since I last saw this. We will get into our feelings on the film across as we go along. It's going to be quite rambly. That's just, well...
That's what commentaries are, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, if you've listened to any of our stuff in the past anyway, it's usually rambly. I'd be very shocked when it's not. But hopefully it should be quite fun. Now, we are watching the 4K Blu-ray version of the movie, but it doesn't really matter anyway, because whatever version of the film you have got, just need to press play now. So, I saw this on opening day back in 2021. I was still working at the Odeon at that point, actually.
Oh yeah, you were.
So, and we went to a different Odeon to watch it.
Not your workplace. Odeon.
No. One of the last times I can remember a cinema being jam-packed, to be honest. Like, everyone was really excited for this.
Yeah.
I think probably even my most anticipated movie of the year.
I would say I felt the same. I'm fairly certain I saw it on opening day as well at View. And again, it's probably the most packed out View screen I've ever been to. And myself and you, I think this was probably the most anticipated film of, what was it, like December?
Yeah, oh, well, definitely. I mean, let's face it, there was next to nothing out in December. But I mean, even that year, it's like No Time to Die, Dune, maybe a few other things.
Yeah.
But in general, the only one
everybody was just like, yeah, these are good films.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, we're brought right back to the end of Far From Home, which had just one of the most brilliant endings of an MCU movie ever. Like, I remember getting so excited when bloody J.K. Simmons, of all people, just suddenly rocks up again. But also, I just really like the setup of... I mean, they even have it in the description of the movie. It's the first time in cinematic history when Spider-Man's identity is known by absolutely everyone. And
yeah, it's not just known by his busy mates. It's like everybody in New York now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, obviously they've floated around with Spider-Man's secret identity in the past, but it's kind of different in the MCU because I remember there was a podcast with James Gunn of all people, when he was talking about the differences between Marvel and DC. Who of course is going on to do stuff with DC now.
Yeah.
And I can remember him saying that the MCU's had a weird history with secret identities in that there wasn't really anyone with a secret identity until Spider-Man came along in the MCU, because everyone else just...
Yeah, well, everybody knows, like, Iron Man and Hulk.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, when you get to, like, the modern day, it's a bit more difficult doing secret identities in, like, the classic sense. So Spider-Man's probably the closest we've had to a classic secret identity, even still.
Yeah,
So I quite like the fact that they are able to actually sort of acknowledge this. Yeah, this is going to have some dire consequences for him, which I think that's been one of the biggest criticisms about at least this version of Spider-Man is that he's not really had to deal with anything. Like he's been quite conveniently with any Stark tech or anything, or with the Avengers and stuff. This is the first time he really becomes like Spider-Man, I'd like to think.
Yeah, well, he's got more responsibility now.
Yeah.
It's like, as you say, with I can't remember bloody Avengers. It's not even an Avengers film, is it? It's bloody
Civil War.
Civil War. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, he's a quick little start. Like Homecoming, you've still got Iron Man in the shadow.
Yeah.
But this one, I think even parts of Far From Home as well. It's like, this guy is actually going to have to be Spider-Man now.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one here to look out for him now.
No, definitely not. And I do really appreciate that. It brings it just a little bit more down to earth, which is ironic given everything else that happens in the second half of this.
Yes, absolutely.
Which I think going in, to be honest, I mean, I know we're, like I say, we are going a little bit further forward in this, but I think we all kind of hoped that the other Spider-Men would appear in this, but then when it's that, and also trying to deal with this story, I think all of us were like, how on earth are they actually going to balance that?
Yeah, how are they going to...
Surprisingly really well, to be honest, I think. Very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a hot take here. Not about this film here. You sound very nervous there. Not about this film, Far From Home. I don't think Far From Home is that good.
No, there's bits I like, but it's not aged well.
I mean, as you say, the ending is brilliant.
Yeah,
it is absolutely brilliant because as soon as you saw that ending, it's like, where are they going to go with this?
Mm-hmm.
And now you have this, and it is just like.
But I think as well, it really feels like Far From Home was properly fast tracked. Like,
yeah, definitely. It's like, oh, we kind of need to like speed things up, but we'll make like a brilliant ending.
Yeah,
where we're gonna get people so pumped up that they're not gonna know what's hit them. I mean, I'm sure you did as well. When you went and saw this in cinema, I was not expecting half the stuff that was gonna be in this.
No, definitely not. I mean,
I knew like other Spider-Men were gonna rock up.
Yeah, obviously. It was like after Into the Spider-Verse really opened it up. It was like, yeah, if you don't, people are gonna get angry.
Yeah.
And even at this point, I think people were still starting to be like marveled out because this is all post Endgame. I think someone labeled some of these movies as post Endgame DLC, which I love that as a name for
post Endgame
some
DLC.
Of those movies.
Well, it kind of fits though, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely, because there's just not a lot to a lot of these other movies. This movie has gone down a little bit since I watched it again, but I think that's just because I just kept on watching it. Like, I saw this 3 times on the big screen.
Bloody hell.
I was just desperate.
Oh, yeah, because once when you've seen it, twice.
When I just happened to be like, yeah, you know what? I don't actually start work until 4 o'clock. I'll just go and watch it.
And then the third time was when they released the extended.
Yeah.
And it was in cinemas for what, like...
A week or two,
but because I was going to say, oh yeah, I'll come with you, but then I had to go on holiday. And I was like, well, there's not really going to be like cinemas in Tenerife, is there?
No, not really. And to be honest, that was a waste of time, to be honest. I think that was one of the worst sort of like re-releases of a movie ever. Like, it was just, there was no reason to do any of that.
Yeah. So yeah, this is what I love about this one. It's just that everybody that Peter Parker is involved with becomes a target.
Yeah, it's like everyone is affected. And even in the end, when he wants to change everything, it's because of them, not him. I'm like, that's so Spider-Man. Yeah. Whereas if it was Tony Stark, yeah, he'd be doing it because he's Tony Stark.
But he'd be putting like some like entertaining spin on it because it's Tony Stark's character with Spider-Man very different.
Mm-hmm.
He's not really doing it for himself; he's doing it for other people.
Yeah,
Tony Stark's the total opposite, which is weird that it's like his mentor, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, we've got the return of Department of Damage Control from Homecoming, which I think that's still like a really like deep cut part of the comics. I don't really know much about it outside of these movies, to be honest.
Not too familiar with it.
But I do like the concept of this, like, yeah, you've got S.H.I.E.L.D. and that deals with the actual extraterrestrial threats. Then you've got Department of Damage Control that have to clean it all up.
Yeah, like you've got S.H.I.E.L.D. and then you've got these guys. So it's like the mess that S.H.I.E.L.D. make and S.H.I.E.L.D.'s Avengers make. These guys sort it out.
Yeah.
It's like half the skyscrapers on the floor. Better get damage control on it.
You know what it is? I still love this version of Aunt May as well. I think it was still like a bit of a curveball for a lot of people because, well, everyone's used to Aunt May looking about 112.
See, I would have went with at least like 80s or something. I don't think I'd go with like, quite bluntly like
Well, yeah.
120 odd.
But then, let's face it, I saw like the version of like an aunt in society these days. They're not guaranteed to be
Well, like
that
80
old.
years old,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
I think this is the perfect sort of like middle-aged woman
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Yeah,
aunt.
and it works.
And it
And
makes
I love,
sense because he's like a high school kid.
yeah, and I love that relationship between the two because there's no Uncle Ben in these, and you don't necessarily need to.
Yeah.
Um, and then of course we've got Daredevil. Now I'm gonna be honest, I never watched the Daredevil series.
Did you not?
No, I tried to be honest. I watched the first half of Jessica Jones season 1, but then just fell off. But then it's like the Netflix stuff. I think the reason I never really bought into it, I think it's because it just didn't really feel like it connected up to everything else, which seems ironic because nowadays I'd rather have something that's not too connected up anymore.
Yeah.
But
I didn't. I can't remember if I watched all of Daredevil, but I'm looking forward to whatever they do with it because we're gonna need another Daredevil film. That one with Ben Affleck, we can just put to the side, quite frankly.
I have heard rumblings that Ben Affleck might be in Deadpool and Wolverine, which I think is hilarious.
We just can't get rid of him, can we?
No, you can't. I like how in this shot, I think in the original version, I can't remember what it is to throw through the window, but it's not actually a brick. It's something else entirely, which is why Daredevil's hand looks a bit off. Is because they've had to superimpose a brick into it in post. Which there's a lot of that in this film because I think this is one of the biggest movies to be shot during the pandemic.
Yeah, I would have imagined so. I mean, you got to think of the time scale.
Yeah, so occasionally you can absolutely tell it was shot during COVID. It's not as bad as Thor: Love and Thunder. That one
Oh no, I
absolutely
mean
looks like
there are 100% worse looking films that have come out of the MCU in like the last months,
oh, definitely, yeah.
and this still it tops them all despite it being filmed in the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly tell when the villains turn up, and a lot of the time they're not really interacting with each other on camera. It's just in different shots. Then you've got like Thomas Hayden Church, who's just all sanding in that one, and Rita Fans is all lizard. But to be honest, I think unless I really knew, I don't think I would have really noticed.
Yeah,
And even this relationship, I think, is far better than it is in Far From Home. Like that one felt really forced.
yeah, that's one of the problems I had. It just feels so forced. It's like they've got no natural chemistry, so the plot just demands that they have to become a love interest.
Yeah.
This one, much better.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been quite nice if they did go like really deep cut with the comics and still had Liz Allen running around, who I do think has like a very very quick cameo in this on like a poster. I think during the Doctor Strange sort of fight.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd have to pause it and find out, to be honest. But they do really well to actually develop this relationship quite well.
Yeah, I must say it's miles better. Much better. You're actually like believing they're in a relationship. It's not just like plot demands. It's like they've actually got natural chemistry.
Yeah, it's just fascinating how any Spider-Man relationship after Peter and MJ in the Sam Raimi movies just feels so much better. I mean, this still doesn't quite top Peter and Gwen in even Amazing Spider-Man 2. That one is just really, really sweet, to be honest.
It is.
But then
I know those films aren't perfect.
Oh, they're not.
They're really not.
No.
But the character, the Peter Parker and the love interest, I've always thought that one was like the most heartbreaking.
I mean, yeah, it's also neck breaking.
Or backbreaking.
Or back breaking. Just like all of the bones breaking.
All of the bones. Isn't the Go Get 'em Tiger a like reference from?
Well, the Go Get 'em Tiger thing comes from, I think, one of the very first panels in the comics when MJ is first introduced, and it's like,
yeah, because I
face a tiger, you
remember
just hit the
it from one of the
jackpot or something.
Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. I'm sure it's the second one.
Yeah, it's the end of Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do love the ramifications of this.
Yeah, because it's not just Peter; it's his mates.
Yeah.
I kind of like how Flash isn't like the jock dude either. He's just some ass.
No, he's like a
He
believable
literally
bully.
brings out a book called Flashpoint.
But also, first of all, right? How has he written a book this quickly?
Yeah,
like,
that's
I'm
my
sure this has
question.
only
How
been
has he
like the
done
last
this
week
quick?
or so. Not unless he's just like copy and paste. I mean, I think it would be even better if he just copy and pasted a completely different book, and that's just the book that he published. I'm like, that feels like a Flash Thompson thing to do.
But that's what I like. It's just a totally different take on Flash.
Yeah, but it's also. I mean, I think it's a lot more believable. I mean,
Oh yeah,
even in the Amazing Spider-Man, they still have Flash being a bit of a jock, and it's like they're not usually that nowadays. It's like whether it be like the rich pompous kid or like all the verbal stuff, which is basically how I was bullied. Not to guilt trip or anything, but that's exactly what I'm doing now apparently.
but it's not just like the ramifications that him being Spider-Man has. It's the ramifications on like the people who aren't even his friends, like the teachers. Like that they're just totally different now. It's like
Yeah.
the guy who's Spider-Man goes to this school.
Yeah, and to be honest, I even like the fact that they kind of cut down on the teachers this go around because they really went overboard and Far From Home. I mean, they were still quite funny, but it's
Yeah,
like you
it was
don't
just
need.
a bit stretched out though.
Yeah,
Really didn't need as much as it. Like here, it's just quite brief.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm sure it's at this point in the extended version. I think he's like being forced to run up the wall in like gym class or something. But
It's like, Peter, can I get you to run up the wall? Okay.
she's reading a newspaper. That's very unusual.
I think
See, even
that's
that
like
line.
the first ever time you see MJ reading damn newspaper.
Yeah. No, even that line about the Spider Lord thing is just really, really cute. Like, you really, again, we're going to be saying a lot. You do buy them as a couple, like, a lot.
Yeah.
But even just the three of them, like, it's not like Ned is like, I mean, he is kind of third wheeling, but.
But it fits though.
Yeah.
Like, he's just the nerd of the group.
Yeah. Which, in fairness, well, they all are, I suppose. But. Wicked crime in Boston.
Wicked crime.
Just like how much of a criticism towards Boston is that? And it's not even like it's just the entire film is just really downbeat because of this. They can actually find a way to find a little bit of light in this.
Yeah, considering all the bleakness that is to come.
And even just as montages of them just not getting into college, which that's also quite heartbreaking.
But it
even for
goes
him.
back in like it's because these people are attached to Spider-Man, so why should they get into college?
Yeah. And the Death Star's gone again.
I love that. Yeah. Whoever, I must feel so sorry for the guy who spent ages building that thing.
I'm pretty sure there was someone that came out after Homecoming was released and said it's the wrong specs for that Death Star in terms like the amount of pieces, and I'm like, why do you care that much?
My goodness, have they like literally gone out and bought the set?
But also,
and counted each individual brick.
But also, they could have easily just customized it themselves. I mean, they are kids.
Well, yeah, because if they got the legitimate Lego set and it smashed on the floor like it did there, it would be all over the place.
I
think you can kind of see how guilty he feels as well.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think unlike any other superhero, I think him just even being a superhero just doesn't always come with...
Yeah, the superhero title doesn't live up to what it is all about.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is more than you can say for a lot of the later MCU films.
Oh, God, and then some.
And see, like, it's not even the fact they don't get in, it's just they don't want to, like, touch an applicant who was attached to the Spider-Man.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous, but unfortunately it is kind of realistic, I suppose, in that sense.
Yeah.
Shut up, Flash. I'm pretty sure that's straight in the comics as well. That like Flash does claim to be like a really good friend of Spider-Man
Spider-Man
now, and
Bezzy Mara,
I'm like,
yeah.
come on. And again, trying to find a little bit of positivity in such a crappy situation.
Situation.
Now, naturally, now we get Pete, Peter deciding, oh, you know what? If I can't do this like the civilian way, I'll do it the superhero way.
It's like, I'll save the administration.
Yeah, I
It's
just
like
love
seeing how
that.
stage your life. Could I now get into college?
Yeah, I just like how he just picks up on the Doctor Strange thing just with the goatee. Like, I love that. Just like of anything.
Well, yeah, because it's like his character, like it's
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be shocked if it is really.
like a beard. Doctor
Yeah.
Strange.
Now, I know there were rumours floating around that this might have not been the real version of Doctor Strange based on the trailers, because I thought he's being very, very quick on agreeing to help Peter.
Yeah.
But also, he's a kid, so, you know, he probably wants to help him in some way. But I like how they can continue sort of having one of the most seasoned Marvel heroes as sort of like a mentor for Peter. So, like, the first one was Tony Stark, second one is Nick Fury, and technically Mysterio, but lying. And then this one is Strange. I mean, would he be the most famous person in the world? I mean, that's one of the things that, like, I mean, like he said it before when he's on like the video call with MJ, and he's like, "I'm the most famous person in the world." And I'm like, "Yeah, but how?"
Yeah, like has it spread on like a global?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get it, but then at the same time, I mean, I know the push really hard for Mysterio being seen as like the greatest superhero in the world. I have that mug. I love that mug.
You have the same mug that
Oh,
Benedict Cumberbatch
I
now
got
has
it
in his hand.
within a week of the film being released. I'm like, I'm having that mug. It's great. Like, I'd like to see more of Doctor Strange in this costume where it's just random civilian clothes and massive winter boots and his cloak.
The magical cape.
Stephen. Um, I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a stretch that Peter would want to like completely wipe everyone's memory.
Yeah, but I think
But
it'd be
again,
very weird to do a film where like everybody knows he's Spider-Man
well, the word
because he wouldn't be a hero. He's just some dude called Spider-Man.
well, that's the thing. They were looking at that because I know after Far From Home release, that's when the deal between Sony and Disney dropped.
Yeah.
So they were looking at options if Spider-Man was going to stay with Sony and not be back in the MCU anymore. And I think there were rumblings that they might have tried to adapt Kraven's Last Hunt, which is a
Ah.
terrific story. You'd have to heavily rework it,
Yeah.
but it would basically be Kraven coming to New York to hunt Spider-Man now that his secret identity's out. But I thought Kraven wouldn't take the easy route on that. He wouldn't just wait until like the kid's name is revealed and then go after him. But then would have been robbed of the opportunity of seeing the great Aaron Taylor Johnson as Kraven the Hunter coming this December. No, thank you.
Oh yeah, it is actually.
Well, I mean, like it's claiming to. I mean,
Oh,
like
I guess we'll see.
it could be released next year again. It's absolutely fine. I'd rather watch this again, to be completely honest.
For like the 5th time in a row.
Yeah, I think I've logged this. This is probably the 5th log I'll have done now since the first game.
Milestone.
Eh. But yeah, again, like his reactions as Pete is a kid, so his idea is absolutely make him sound like it's a kid doing it, and that's just like there, like
Yeah, kid's been through a lot. Yeah.
yeah, it's like at least help him a little bit. And we do, Wong. We leave you out of it entirely. Fine. I do also like the idea now that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme because Strange vanished for 5 years.
Yeah, he was gone for a canny while.
Yeah, but I just like Wong a lot. He's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep on forgetting that The Equalizer is also a TV series in the 80s. I only know it from the movies.
Don't call me sir.
Because that's exactly that. Like, you can, you know, get everyone to forget that. Yeah, because you would have to do it to everyone for it to be consistent.
Yeah, because I think in his mind it's like if I can just make like the people who I want to make forget me,
Yeah.
but it doesn't work like that,
Mm.
and he tries to make it work like that.
Yeah. I mean, even that like comment of like, um, letting MJ remember is like, well, is she in a relationship with you because she knows you're Spider Man? You're like, well, you hope not.
I'm only with you because you're Spider-Man, you know that?
Yeah. But I think as like an idea for getting other villains from the previous iterations of Spider-Man in, this is quite a clever idea. I
Yeah,
mean, it doesn't quite hold up only because, like, they say, like, the villains that come in know that Peter Parker's Spider-Man. I'm like, well, Electro didn't. He'd never even met Peter to begin with.
yeah.
So, why he's there doesn't really make much sense. Everyone else, that's fine, but that one doesn't. See, that immediately just completely defeats the point.
I want everyone to forget, but now I'm not really that sure.
Yeah, exactly. And now we screwed it up.
Did it work? No.
Yeah.
There is now a very temperamental spell trapped within a glass cube.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to happen later. Well, as a character arc, that was very, very quick.
Things we learned. No one calls Stephen Strange sir.
Yeah. But I do like the relationship between the two of them.
Yeah,
It's like, I mean, even between him and Nick Fury, yeah, it's quite volatile. But these two do work quite well together.
I mean, even that, like, it's because of what has just happened. It's like, just try and get them to reconsider rather than go down this route where potentially catastrophe is awaiting.
See, but then I love the reaction to the fact that he didn't actually try this first, and he decided to wipe the world first before like just sending an email.
It's like, I'll just go to the magical doctor who can probably just make, like, the world forget I'm Peter Parker.
Yeah, just like
Spider-Man.
I mean,
Minecraft.
speaking to someone who doesn't like talking to people on the phone, I would also do this. To be honest, I would also wipe the memory of the entire planet before I had to make a phone call.
I mean, why didn't he just annoy them? It's like, please.
Yeah. And again, it's still going back to it doesn't really matter about myself. I'm trying to think of them too. Ugh. Now I'm sure with that shot of Flash is on a green screen, it kind of looks like it immediately.
Yeah.
Well, it does in my head, but then I'm like cynical like that. Obviously.
It's like, now's my time to shine.
Yeah. And again, just like sort of like I think a lot of people I mean, even this suit, a lot of people criticize he's just really overpowered with us. So I like the fact that they kind of just turn all the systems off.
Yeah, it's just a suit now. There's anything too special about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would also have that kind of reaction if Tom Holland was just walking past the car.
It's like, oh, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They're getting Flashpoint.
The fact that she's even reading that book, I mean, like, she's got to be family, surely. I do remember when these trailers started dropping, people did actually think that she was actually going to be the mother of Miles Morales. I thought, that's a bit quick to introduce that, although they did have the Prowler in Homecoming, which I forget about. I feel like whatever they do next, I think they will start dropping hints of it.
I would like to see less mainstream villains.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like especially after this one, it's like I don't even want to see I don't even want to see the MCU version of Doc Ock or Green Goblin.
No,
I don't need
I'd
that.
rather just have like different villains.
Yeah.
Rather than the same old ones over and over and over again.
But then this is also the closest that I think Sony have ever gotten to actually doing a Sinister Six movie as well, even though it's with 5 of them, which is ironic. Just like they did actually forget about the 6, didn't they? But then they're probably like, there's not really 6 villains in these movies that people actually really like beyond like Venom, but we don't really need to see that. But yeah, the reactions to this first teaser, when that first came out, people went absolutely mental.
Me being one of them as well, because I was just like, oh, this is going to be such a good film.
Well, it was even after Alfred Molina even revealed he was going to be in it, and no one thought he was actually being serious until you see the teaser trailer. It's like, oh my god, they are actually doing that.
In the palm of my hand.
Well, even the de-aging is actually quite well done, I've got to say, because at least with these, they're just a bit more subtle.
It's not like, it's not completely in your face.
Yeah, it's not like they're trying to de-age them by like 40 or 50 years. In this case, with Doc Ock, it's like 10 or 15. So it's almost a bit like what they did with Nick Fury and Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's one of the few things I actually like with that movie is the de-aging of Nick Fury and that. Until he starts running, and you can tell that it's like a 70-year-old running around. And yeah, even as a fight, I quite like this one. It's not nearly as memorable as the stuff in Spider-Man 2, but also you're gonna struggle to find anything more memorable than the fights in Spider-Man 2, because it's...
Yeah, because it was something else entirely, but even still here, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's choreographed very well.
Yeah. Tentacle versus tentacle.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a very different film.
God. Limb versus limb. That's even worse, to be honest.
But yeah, I like the logic of all these villains sort of come into play just before they die as well.
Yeah.
So it does leave the room open, so like you could change fate if you can. Which I think some people have had issues with ever since the movie release, where it's like, oh, so all the villains survive, so what does that do to the universes in that one? And some people are like, oh, well, it doesn't matter because we're not going to see those ones, so it's fine. It's absolutely fine. I think I was more mixed on it because I liked the ending for Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock. It's suitably tragic, and I'd question if this kind of robs it of that. Because now we know that he's going to survive, or he just goes back to his own universe and still dies. It's difficult to tell. Oh god, he was this close. This close. And even in this entire one, even Doc Ock still doesn't realise this isn't actually his Peter yet, and I like that.
Got it. Oh, there's a control.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Has this been thrown into numerous amounts of concrete?
Yeah. I do like the integration of that though. That's quite cool. But now you die. Why is that the line that I can remember? Hang on just a minute. And even just that reaction.
Even the claws are just like, hang on a second.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's quite a clever idea, how, like, the nanotech in the suit can then sort of fix the arms just temporarily. I mean, yeah, it's done mostly for comedic reasons, but I like it. I remember a few people criticizing and being like, "Oh, well, I mean, why didn't they do that in Spider-Man 2?" I'm like, they didn't have nanotech in
Yeah,
Spider-Man
Peter
2.
Parker's suit didn't exactly have like a Stark Industries grade
Yeah,
Spider-Man suit.
exactly. I'm like, yeah, I
I mean,
get
does Iron Man even exist in that universe?
well, Doctor Strange does.
Doctor Strange exists in everything.
Technically, yeah. But no, it's I get like the tech is a lot more advanced than even like modern day right now, but it doesn't. It's still quite consistent. I quite liked it.
Yeah, it's not like we've gone full blown Transformers here.
Oh, please don't. We're not doing that. We're absolutely not doing that. So even just that little moment of like, yeah, I'll try and talk to them.
And all it
See if
took
I
for
can get
you
it
was
work.
to save my life.
Yeah, how selfish. Just like, no, I'm not going to help you. Oh, you saved my life. Okay, that's fine. That's okay.
I'm in control of this whole tentacle situation.
Yeah. Oh, I think it would have been funny if they brought back the Dane DeHaan version of the Green Goblin instead and it wasn't Willem Dafoe.
Oh, I don't think I could cope, mate.
Yeah. Now, obviously it's nice to have the Green Goblin in this. I mean, I don't think we ever spoke about the other movies, like at all in this sort of thing, but I never really liked the sort of Power Rangers kind of costume they gave the Green Goblin, to be honest.
Nah.
It's because it's weird because I get what they were doing with the Dane DeHaan version, trying to make it realistic, but also that didn't work. So I appreciate the fact that that's the only time you see the Green Goblin sort of classically.
Yeah, and then it goes a bit Power Rangy, as you say.
Mm. And then, of course, we've got the lizard for some reason.
Gecko Man.
Yeah. I do know that in the concept art, they were going for a more classic looking lizard with like the snout and even the sort of like remains of the white lab coat, which I love that as a design.
I would have preferred that. I mean, it still looks pretty cool, but I would have liked the whole thing of like, well, surely because he can transform into a lizard, surely like ragtag bits of clothing are still going to be stuck to him.
Yeah. And even just the idea that, like, you know, if he's been the lizard for long enough, then he could, like, be evolving, hence the snout. But no.
Missed opportunity.
No. I think if this thing was shot in different circumstances, I think they would have done it like that.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason they kept it like this is because the new Rita fans wasn't actually available for filming in person, just voiceover. So they're like, well, we kind of have to keep that original lizard design them because we need to make them talk and make it look believable. I'm like, guys, it didn't look believable in 2012. It doesn't look believable in 2021 either.
I love that.
He's just angry all the time. And I like that. And again, like if it wasn't shot during COVID, I don't think they'd be in separate sort of boxes like this. Well,
yeah.
Well, maybe they still would have done, but
I think it would have looked a bit different though. I think they would.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the. I mean, I do like the single cell thing because it's like each person has their own cell.
Yeah.
I think if you kind of put all of them in together one cell, you're just kind of asking for recipe for disaster, really.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna die.
No, definitely.
I know for a fact that Ned 100% has a Lego version of the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Oh, he definitely does.
I know for
He absolutely
fact.
does. So one of the other random plots they weave into this is the idea that Ned is sort of like in tune with magic. which is just weird, to be honest. I think it's just more convenient for later on than anything else.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how I feel about it still. I think it's something new to add, but
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. Like you've got this, but then again, sometimes it does work for the best because it's always the characters who are like the dorkiest who are often the heroes.
Yeah, and even now that's still a bit of a stereotype.
Yeah.
Again, she's just got no shade for any of them. I love that.
Please, Scooby Doo this shit. I remember watching that in the cinema, and like the entire cinema just buckled.
Oh yeah. Again, there hasn't really been a Marvel movie or really any movie to have that kind of reaction. I don't think.
I think the only other time was Age of Ultron, where Iron Man says shit, and then Captain's like language.
Yeah,
I think that was about it though, but I still think this one's so much better because it's coming from some smart ass teenager.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, I mean, like, I'm not the sort of person who really enjoys watching like audience reactions to movies on YouTube, just because, well, it's always the American ones, and they're always really overboard. Like, if I was in an American audience watching a movie like this, I would absolutely hate the entire experience because it'd be so much laughing and cheering and all that sort of stuff, and I'm like, guys,
come on,
like, stop it! You're cheering for everything. I mean, yeah, it's quite fun to watch, especially for like Endgame. It fits for that. This, well, I think the problem is occasionally you can tell it's designed to have that kind of reaction.
Yeah.
Like, especially when the other two turn up and there's like a good, like, 10 seconds.
Well, I was about to say, when you
it's...
get Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man rock up, yes, we all knew that it was inevitable that those two were going to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, the cinema just lit up.
What I think as well...
A dinosaur.
Yeah. The dinosaur can talk. I think as well, obviously I love the fact that they're in it. The film does a good enough job where if they weren't in it, I wouldn't have minded because the story doesn't need them per se. But it would still be quite disappointing if they weren't in it. The Green Elf, which all of a sudden is just a funnier name, to be honest. Like a flying green elf.
A flying green elf.
Mm-hmm. When you think about it, this is the first time in any of the movies when Doc Ock and
Green Goblin are in the same.
Yeah, because they both know each other between the movies, but you never see them together because, well, you know, they both die in each like respective one. Now, so I quite like the fact that they can actually bring them both together. I mean, it's the same for all of them. I mean, all of them are still really good. Even bloody Thomas Hayden Church, the Sandman, which I think. I mean, I do like Spider-Man 3 quite a bit. I think I'm probably defended that movie more than a lot of other people. But one of the things I always liked was Sandman in that. I thought if they just stuck with one villain, have Sandman, I think that would be quite good.
If they got rid of Venom, I would have been a hell of a lot happier.
Yeah. I mean, hell, even if they got rid of Harry Osborn as the
protege of Green Goblin.
As the Green Goblin with a snowboard.
Yeah.
Which I'm like...
Oh, I hate that one so much.
Just like, oh yeah, it has to look all modern. I'm like...
We went from glider...
It's a snowboard!
...to hovering snowboard.
Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't have minded if it was still a glider.
Like, at least we're here. At least the glider's still here.
Yeah.
Mind that, I missed the whole, like... one thing I really wish is, like, the quirkiness of Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin in the Raimi ones.
Yeah.
Here he's a lot of villainous, but I really like how cocky he is, like, in the Raimi ones. It's like,
oh, he definitely
down came the Goblin and blew the spider out.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, they were probably looking at it thinking,
do we need that cheesiness?
Yeah, it's like, is it cheesy or is it too cheesy or is it too campy? Which, No, it's fine.
It's not overboard in any way.
No, definitely not.
And at least here, I feel like Electro has a much better presence compared to the previous installment.
To be honest, I really like Blue Electro.
Yeah.
I do really like that. Like, yeah, I don't like Amazing Spider-Man 2 a lot. It's not a good movie. But I do like that iteration of Electro quite a bit.
Yeah.
Um,
I love that. It's like, are you maybe from another universe?
yeah,
It's like, I don't know, Peter, the guy who's literally made of volts.
yeah, as you do. And what I also like from Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the theme for Electro. And that is the only time you hear it at all. Just like that sort of like electric kind of like riff. Like I get that they don't want to use everything, but
Yeah.
I would have liked.
Would have been nice to have the theme back.
Yeah,
or at
because
least like a different take on it. It would have been quite nice.
well, that's the thing. Because even when they bring back Garfield, and it's like, okay, which version of the theme tune do we use? Because you either use the James Horner one from the first movie, or you use the Hans Zimmer one from Amazing Spider-Man 2. And I really like both, to be honest. But then they only use the James Horner one. And then we've got Sandman.
So what do you mean you're not my Peter?
Again, it's just like
Everybody is just as confused as he is.
yeah, exactly, and I like that because then at least it means it gives the villains the opportunity to be like, yeah, you know what, we could actually help because this isn't the Peter I'm supposed to be angry with. Now, that being said, I don't think it quite works. I mean, so I do like the fact that when Sandman rocks up, he's not immediately the villain because that ties in with Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember someone saying, "Oh, does he actually know that he's the Peter Parker Spider-Man?" I'm like, well, yeah, he does because he knows about what happened with Uncle Ben. Because in that version, they decided to retcon it so that it's Sandman that kills Uncle Ben for some reason, which I never really liked. To be honest, that was just silly.
Yeah. That didn't really click with it.
No.
I love that bit. It's like hand fight. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sand. Oh, sorry about that.
And Jamie Foxx is back, and he's not completely bat crazy. I think even as one of the, I think like even the casting of him as Electro, I always really loved.
Yeah.
Because it's such weird casting. Like you don't hire Jamie Foxx, who's usually quite cool and confident anyway, and hire him to be a really awkward nerd.
I hate the words. Same.
Yeah.
But see, this is what I like about this film. It's not designed to be funny. It's just got the. It's just written appropriately.
Yeah.
It's not zingers every like 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. But also just like everyone's reactions. Yeah. I mean, especially for this version of Spider-Man as well. Like he doesn't know any of them at all. So that's kind of where the comedy comes from because he's like, really, this is what we're dealing with now. And yeah, like I say, you got Thomas Hayden Church just purely CGI because he also couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And again, them two never in a scene together either.
Yeah.
So I like that.
It's like honestly, it's like a dot to dot at this rate, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, at this rate, this is like
the only one who isn't is Sandman.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's in the Raimi universe, but he hasn't. Well, as far as I can tell, hasn't met Green Goblin, hasn't met Doc Ock.
No.
Be different if there was Venom.
Yeah.
But, Venom's not there, thankfully.
No. I mean, well, the worst thing is that given the choice between the Topher Grace Venom and the Tom Hardy Venom, unfortunately, I would take the Topher Grace Venom because that's the most.
Do I have the option to just not choose any of them?
Yeah, you do.
I'd say none of them.
Why don't you pick the Tony Todd one from the Spider-Man 2 game? Whereas that is actually brilliant.
Do you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah.
An electric guy and a sand guy.
I mean, I think I would have quite liked it if I think one of the only issues I've got with the villains is the fact that they're all from the previous movies, but not with this version of Peter. I think I would have liked one of them from his universe. I think there was concept art that they were going to bring back a version of Mysterio,
Mm.
which I thought that's a bit sudden, even though I do quite like that version of Mysterio. But
I
quite
mean, it's kind
frankly,
of like who do you settle with, though? You've got Vulture.
which I think I would have been happy to have
Yeah,
Vulture, but also because even in this, you've still got Doc Ock, who is technically part of this group, and then halfway through ends up changing anyway. You could have done that with Vulture as well. So you could have had the actual Sinister Six, and it would have felt absolutely fine.
yeah. And Willem
Oh,
Dafoe is a perfect choice for Green Goblin. Like,
oh yeah,
it's just
yeah. I mean, the suit looks a bit poor, to be honest. Even like the run, just so like
slow motion run.
yeah, absolutely looks like a character in a video game, to be honest. But I like how they just immediately get rid of most of the suit anyway. I like that.
So it's less Power Rangy.
Yeah, because he just puts a hoodie on it.
Which I think looks miles better, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like not every supervillain needs a like wacky costume.
No, I mean even the spider suits
You look
here.
at Sandman; he's literally just a casual dude who can turn into sand.
Yeah, I mean even with changing Spider-Man's suit, like it's just inside out. And I like how everyone was theorizing where the hell the suit comes from. I'm like, yeah, it's just going to be inside out. I can guarantee it. So I'm sure Willem Dafoe was ever so slightly de-aged for this as well. Again, just like ever so subtly. So
Yeah.
you'd probably never know. Even though I don't think he's really changed that much in 20 years.
No, not really.
No. Now that's an interesting one. I remember reading rumours for Homecoming before that came out and how Vulture was actually going to be uh, a staff member at Oscorp.
Right?
Now, I think that, I mean, whether or not that rumor was ever actually legit, and I know one of the story leaks, heavily featured Oscorp. So I quite like the fact there's no Oscorp in this universe, though that does immediately mean that either they're gonna have to basically be a startup company in a future movie if you ever want to use the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think you could use the Green Goblin again because it would be constantly overshadowed by Willem Dafoe, both in terms of casting and also the fact that he is in this universe now.
I love this scene so much because he's like, yes, the dude's a villain, but I just want to help him.
Mm. And again, their relationship. Like, yeah, it does mean that it's quite obvious that she's going to be the Uncle Ben of this, like, in
Mm.
terms of, like, that relationship. I'm still quite surprised they went with killing her, I'll be honest, but we can need to get that later. But I did start to theorize that as soon as you see Feast, because while I didn't play the Spider-Man PS4 game, I did watch like the entire storyline of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a heavy sort of story there with Aunt May, like working in a homeless shelter, and well, spoilers for that game, she also dies at the end of that. I was thinking to myself, oh no, we're gonna be doing that now. But I suppose as well, like if we're gonna give Peter a couple of extra issues to deal with. Cute. Getting told.
See, I love that
I
even
love that. Yeah,
even like,
that's
you've gone from Mary Jane, it's actually Michonne.
yeah. It's no, I like that. I mean, I know some people would like her
Flip a
with
table for that.
yeah, and trust me, they have. I mean, Christ, they're even doing it
Like,
with the PS4 games.
like really, there are more names than MJ means. You got Michelle, you got Michonne,
Yeah,
there's a very long, long list. You can't just have like everybody in the universe be called MJ.
no, exactly, and plus, like, it's I'm sure when after Homecoming was released, and then the reveal that this is the MCU version of MJ, which I didn't mind at all,
Yeah.
frankly. And then there were people like, "Oh, is she gonna dye her hair for the next one?" I'm like, she doesn't need to dye her hair red for the next one. Like, just let her be whatever character she wants to be. It doesn't really matter, quite frankly. But again, we've already seen that relationship on the big screen, closer to the comics. We don't need to see it again. I'm happy to see something else.
I mean, definitely sounds that like although Sandman, Doc Ock, and Green Goblin don't know each other, he knows that they die.
Yeah, so that kind of works, to be honest. So that kind of confirms that that'll have been literally at the very end of Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Were you shit?
Let me tell you something right here, right now. I was whooping Spider-Man's ass. Just so bluntly. It's like, no, we were having a fisticuffs.
Yeah. Now, naturally, with Electro, like I say, he doesn't ever know, at least from what we see, that Peter Parker's Spider-Man. So, I know at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, he does just get absorbed into the grid. So, unless that's how he finds out, but it's still a bit of a stretch, to be honest. Now, as if it was ever going to be that easy.
He's so conflicted now.
Yeah, but I really like that.
Yeah.
It's like he knows they're all going to die.
So much responsibility on him.
And even because especially as well, I think if this was any other version of Spider-Man, he wouldn't be this kind. But he doesn't know them as well as the other ones do. So it's like, yeah, well, if I can give him the choice, because right now they haven't personally hurt me nearly as much as the others have, except for Green Goblin in like an hour. Every time it's that Emerald Elf.
Emerald Elf.
Anytime I see that stupid looking cube thing, I immediately just think of the Allspark every single time. I do apologize. But this is like pure Spider-Man though, with like, yeah, if I can find a way to save them, I will do that.
Words spoke from Doctor Strange. Don't.
Yeah. But toy. Now, this entire sequence, I really love. I think it's very, very, very good. No. No, I won't. But yeah, like I said, this is like the only time you could ever do this sort of fight with Spider-Man. Like, you can't do it with any other character.
No, definitely not.
Well, I say that, I think, based on the way they do Madam Web, I felt like if they did Spider-Man with them, I feel like they'd probably try and do it like this. Because they're just desperate. But then that's a Sony for you. Now, I'm sure if you look very, very carefully over his head, you can actually sort of see like little lines on his head. That's supposed to be based on the version of the Spider-Sense from the comics.
Oh.
I was like, man, again...
You guys have thought of everything.
I was like, despite everything, you were thinking. I like that. So I think it's the shot coming up now when Doctor Strange comes around the corner. Yeah, so it's the People magazine that has Liz Allen on the front. Because, yeah, naturally she would call him out as a liar because she absolutely hates him.
The mirror dimension stuff is just such a mind boggle.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a spectacle and a half, like, but my goodness.
Amazing. I'm not that big on the Doctor Strange movie, but I do remember when I saw it in IMAX. Yeah, I was pretty wowed by this. I mean, I know people said, oh, it looks a bit like Inception. I was like, yeah, but I don't like Inception, so it doesn't really matter. It's also like one of the rare times you actually have Spider-Man actually swinging around New York. It's one of those things I've noticed with these ones is that they don't really do it that much.
Yeah, it's only
Which,
really used in like combat situations, but we're here, mirror dimension all over the place, and it's
yeah,
brilliant.
like I think the first time you ever see this version of Peter actually swinging around New York, it technically was in Infinity War, when he when
Yeah,
they start fighting
what's his
the
face?
yeah the big
Grey dude.
yeah the big orc looking thing. I don't know what he's called. I don't care. But yeah, that's like the first time that you see him just regularly swinging around. Yeah, again, exactly. I love the despite everything. Like, I'd like to just try and save them, please.
Yeah, what's the harm in trying?
Yeah,
Because he's a
exactly.
kid.
Yeah. Yeah, just visually, it's just absolutely trippy as hell. It really
Oh,
is.
it is like the mirror stuff, like when it's like the inverted city and all that. I mean, like
Yeah.
the train turning into like a whole cylinder. It's so weird.
Yeah. And I like how in the end he can actually defeat Strange just by using math
Oh
because it's all
yeah,
just
it's like
geometry and stuff.
geometry.
Yeah. Yeah, so like instead of just beating the crap out of him, he just uses his
Just
brain.
uses math against him.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, that's really solid. I like that. There you go.
You know what's cool with the magic? Math.
Math. Oh, that's gonna burn his knuckles.
I bet he was fuming.
Oh yeah.
He just screamed so much.
Well, I mean, doesn't he have like a bit of like a Loki line like later on when he's like been dangling
I've
over
been trapped in there.
the Grand Canyon for 12 hours or something like
Yeah,
that.
something along those lines. Yeah,
Yeah. There you go. Immediately, like yeah,
it's
I
not
get
who he
it.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, there it
Uh,
is.
I still don't know if I even
You
like
know,
the fact that I had
I'm
that
something of
line.
a scientist myself.
Yeah, it's a bit.
A bit on the
Nah.
nose, but
Yeah,
still, I
exactly.
still think it's brilliant though.
Yeah.
It's even the smile as well.
Yeah. Oh, shut up, Reese.
Hey, shut up! You're literally a lizard.
Yeah, he still doesn't look quite good when he's talking. I haven't got this under control.
I literally love the fact that these guys are placing their trust in a Peter Parker who's not from their universe.
Yeah.
It's like we can either go along with the plan or die.
Yeah, and it's like, nah, it doesn't really.
Not much
We
choice.
yeah, we don't actually know you yet. Like you, I
Trust the
mean,
random high school kid or die.
yeah.
High school kid, die. High school kid, die.
Mm.
Die, high
Decisions,
school kid.
decisions. No way that that's his girlfriend.
We can
Like,
see who wears the trousers in this relationship.
which, well, given the fact that she's wearing trousers and he's wearing tights right now,
Yes.
which when you put it like, yeah. Run away. I also, I've been a bit of a defender for the music in these ones. Like,
Mm.
especially this movie, I do really like this sort of like little theme.
I think out of the trilogy, this one's got the better score. Like,
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
I think all of them have got good scores.
Yeah,
This one's just, it's because there's so many little things that just make it such a big thing.
yeah. I mean, would I like to have seen them use the themes from the other movies more? Yeah, sure, but you don't necessarily need it.
Yeah.
Um,
It would have been nice, though. It would have been nice to have, like, themes from, I mean, as I said, Jamie Foxx's theme,
oh yeah.
the electoral theme. It would have been quite nice. Or at least, like,
Mm.
a revamped version of it, or just something a little different, but
Yeah, exactly.
still. I could go for a burrito. You're gonna kill us, Osborn.
I mean, yeah, it's very much sort of like an MCU take on all of these villains, even just with the dialogue. But you know, I was like, I don't mind. It's he's a battler, all right. I mean, like he's dead now, but it doesn't really matter. There you go. You got the Statue of Liberty in the background. That's a bit of a gouge ill recon. If I'm completely honest, I think that's a bit of a push.
Stark Industries as well. It's like,
Yeah.
Stark gone.
And then he breaks the kitchen.
Should have killed us all. God, he's so negative.
Yeah, well, he's
Just trying to help you.
Yeah, he's got every right to be angry, though. He's just angry all the time.
But how they just leave Lizard in the van.
Yeah.
Can't be trusted. We can trust the dude with the tentacles. We can trust the homicidal maniac who dresses up like a goblin. We can trust the dude who turns into volts, and we can trust the guy made entirely out of sand. But the dinosaur,
No,
absolutely not.
No, too far.
I forgot about that line.
Yeah.
It explains why he's so miserable.
Obviously. Now, to be honest, that's a funny line, but also just stupid. Oh, I think it would have been funny if he was like, "Yeah, salt, please." I really hope she's still ill. But also, how the hell is she still alive? Like, I'm pretty sure his daughter was supposed to be terminal.
From what I remember, I don't think it was ever like explained how ill she was in Spider-Man 3.
There was a great review done by a channel called The Unusual Suspect. Guy's a northerner as well. I think originally from Bradford. And he did a review for Spider-Man 3, and when he was talking about it, he was like, and this is Flynn Marco's daughter. She's suffering from a very severe case of um dying. Like, that's it, because you don't know anything else.
Yeah, I mean you assume it because well, she's got like tubes in there and stuff like that, doesn't she?
Yeah. I mean, I remember there's a deleted scene from Spider-Man 3 because I know they re-released the movie like 10 years later as like an editor's cut or something, which is a weird thing to call it. And like the last scene, one of the last scenes of the movie is his daughter like playing in a playground, and there's like a little sand pit, and she never sees her dad, but he builds her a sandcastle. And I was like, oh man, that's actually quite sweet. Crap. Wouldn't it be funnier if he just died just like right now?
I think he would
It's like,
look
whoops,
just
never
as
mind.
surprised as he does right now.
Yeah, it's like whoopsie daisy. But yeah, I mean, I do quite like the way that he's able to actually save him.
And yeah, the Stark Fabricator thing is a little bit too much because it just seems like it's far too easy.
Yeah. Far too easy to get home.
Yeah.
Should have been the actual
Far
title of the
too
movie.
easy to get home.
Yeah. But then he himself, I always liked. Also, when he was all nice anyway, especially at the start of Spider-Man 2, he's like a legitimately nice person. And for a reason to give him a new suit, I don't mind that either. Also looks quite cool. It's no Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, but
No,
I'll worship at the altar of that one every single time.
Happy is not going to be happy.
No, the irony. So this entire time, you kind of get the sense that this has actually just been the long game for the Goblin.
Yeah, which you kind of feel a bit betrayed.
Yeah, because it's like again, it just kind of adds to the tragedy of it all. Because it's like, yeah, you want him to be okay,
But all this time, as you say, it is just a long game for the Goblin. He's just playing some twisted game.
yeah. And I just like how legitimately scared Peter is, even just like putting something on bloody Electro. Just like,
I mean, to be honest, I would be
think
quite
he would
terrified.
actually punch me.
The dude is literally made of bolts. I'd be
Yeah.
pretty scared. I'd
But
be scared
also
just getting a static shock from him.
Oh, you can tell that these are American because they say Legos.
Not the Legos.
It's like, no, it's Lego.
Yeah, it's Lego. Pay attention, goddamn.
Just like treat it like sheep. Like plural is exactly the same words. Not sheeps. And I still like the fact that you know what, rather than just like replacing J.K. Simmons, like, you know what, we just bring him back because there's like no one else who can possibly do this.
I just can't believe like they brought everybody else in, bar the lizard.
And the lizard has to stay outside.
That's where they draw the line.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll bring the guy who's made entirely of sand, a very unstable man in green, a dude who's got tentacles, and a man made of electricity, but no lizard weed.
Every time.
The line has been drawn.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, was there a notice on the building? No lizards allowed. Oh, I love that POV.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Especially when you've got like 5 villains in the same room. It's like, okay, which one is actually the one I should actually be scared of?
I mean, we all know, like, we've got a hint that it's obviously going to be Goblin.
Yeah. Okay, no, sorry, 4 villains in the room, not 5. Because the other one's been left outside like a dog.
Quite literally.
Or in this case, a lizard. There we go.
Oh,
yeah, it's just the change in the voice and the mannerisms, and I'm like, it's almost like he's a completely different person, and I love that.
You got like Norman Osborn, the Sufferer, and then you've got the Goblin.
Yeah. But again, like, it just goes back to, yeah, you bring these back because we just can't cast them any better.
Yeah, you cannot.
Yeah. Yeah, she's doomed. I'm sure I saw that clip as a meme this morning. But I think it was like an Alcoholics Anonymous thing where it's like, we don't need to be fixed.
God.
Yeah, it's whether it's just the performance or just the character themselves. Like, there's just never been a better version.
I think it's a healthy mix of both. Really,
Oh,
like, I mean,
yeah.
as you say, you just cannot replace
exactly.
Willem Dafoe's
Yeah.
Green Goblin. It's just
But even just the fact like their entire fight in this bit is all just like hand to hand combat, which I love.
yeah. There's no like fancy gadgets and stuff. It's just like superheroes just punching the crap out of each other.
Yeah, exactly. I know when Willem Dafoe was asked to come back for it, he was like, only if I can actually do my own stunts, because, you know, I never got the chance to do it in the other ones. I'd like at least one chance to do it, because this probably be the only time he'd ever do it. And it absolutely works.
Oh yeah.
I'll say this though, I still think like the sound effects, as good as they are, when revisiting Spider-Man 3 a while ago, I was like, yeah, these still look absolutely incredible, especially like the sequence when Sandman first sort of emerges, like after we, you know, in the collider thingy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, some of the CG looks a bit iffy when they're fighting, but to be honest, it doesn't matter because it just works.
I think you're just so caught up with actually what's happening, and there's just so much going on, and I think you've got to be a real nitpicker to like.
Oh yeah. You know, I try really, really hard.
I try really hard.
But I think for the rest of this movie, this is all just set on one night now.
Yeah.
When you think about it, which is kind of scary.
It's like Halloween.
Just like they're literally here for a couple of hours, and then they leave. Like they're just here for a night.
It's Halloween, but it's not the night he came home. It's the night the Goblin caused mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that expression.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, it's like you know what it is.
You know what he reminds me of?
The Joker.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, the Joker. Like
just
I'm sure,
how manic he actually is. Like he's just getting beaten to a pulp, and he's just giggling like a little schoolgirl.
I'm sure Dafoe did actually say at one point that there was possibility that he could have been like an older version of the Joker in one of the movies.
How he hasn't seen a live-action Joker is beyond me.
Last thing, you can't now because then you'd just be doing it because he was the Goblin.
Yeah.
That's like the only sort of time that them two even have any sort of interaction, which is quite. It's weird.
I love how like Lizard's not even bothered about like kicking his ass. He just threw him in a window so Goblin can have more fun with him. It's like,
oh yeah,
I'm done with you.
Just like, yeah, I could do this, but
I'm
no,
gonna
I'm
go
not
find
gonna.
some insects to eat.
Yeah.
Or people, because you know he's quite big.
Uh-huh.
So it's not even like the Goblin mask that does it. It's the character.
Well, that's lucky. You don't need it because it's all in the performance, and that's hidden behind the masks. Yeah, so at this point, on that first watch, I was like legitimately crapping myself. I was thinking,
oh yeah, I remember like how tense it was.
I was like, please, like, I know you're probably gonna kill her, but please don't actually kill her because. But also that even the she won't back down, like that's absolutely her.
Yeah. See, I love this Goblin look. Like it's just so rogue.
No, it's absolutely spot on. Like it absolutely trumps the last one. And all it is literally just a torn up hoodie that's just put over the suit. That's the thing as well, when you look at the comics and you look at the Goblin themselves, like they're usually the ones that hurt Spider-Man more personally than any other one. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not shocked that they're the one.
This time around, it is actually Goblin.
But also, it's a bit of a sort of like a quick twist here because you think, oh no, she's actually okay. She has actually just gotten up. She's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I think it's brilliantly misleading.
Yeah, very misleading.
Because you're just like, oh, she's alive. Thank heavens.
Yeah.
Whew. And she just tries to trooper on all this for Peter. I'm like, oh my god, it's even more heartbreaking now.
Oh yeah. And yeah, even just the performance there is just sort of like just a bit jittery, just a little bit shaky. Just like,
It's like, she's not alright.
No.
She's far from it.
No. And now we get the line, of course.
I mean, it's the same line carried across like all three versions,
Oh yeah.
but it's such a hard hitting one though because it just lives up to the character of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Spider-Man is about. Great power comes great responsibility.
I mean, granted, the original. I mean, I like how it's line for line the original one from the comic, but even that one is just narration from Spider-Man. It's not actually from a particular
Yeah.
person, so it's retroactively became the thing that Uncle Ben would say. Oh, Jesus. I'm not sure how much of a mess I was during this entire bit, but
I
probably
think I was quite close.
I was very, very
Yeah.
close, yeah. But again, giving him real, actual consequences.
See, it's just after this where he's really deciding if he is actually a hero or not.
Yeah.
Because he's just lost like his only family member now.
Mm-hmm.
Blood on his hands, you know, that
Yeah.
phrase and stuff. It's just like,
Yeah, exactly.
holy hell, Peter.
Mm-hmm. And even just, again, the acting is like, oh my
It's
god.
just spot on. You know, it's like when he did it in Infinity War. This, you know, when he gets turned to dust.
Jesus.
Like, it was like that. Like,
yeah.
it just hits you like a ton of bricks, man.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what a superhero film should be. Where you're actually invested in characters and you're not just invested in stupid spectacles.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't that at all. This has actually got an emotionally damaging amount of depth.
Yeah, exactly.
It.
And it's weird because, especially with the fact that they don't use Uncle Ben in these at all, although there is clearly an Uncle Ben prior to these movies.
Yeah.
There's no real indication that they'd then kill her off in a similar fashion.
Yeah, because you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And like I say,
and that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't need to know. We've had two versions of Spider-Man where there's been an Uncle Ben.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got like the classic kind of criticism of these types of characters where like, oh, I mean, they only exist to be killed to then spur on like the lead character. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's fiction. This is like it's tragedy. That's kind of how it works. Like, it would be very, very different if they just all survived. There was never a body count.
Yeah.
So, and again with the music, I think Michael Giacchino did such a wonderful job with this. Like, it's suitably tragic.
Yeah, I really like this bit of the score because it just adds to the.
I mean, even listening to it on its own, and like I can remember, it just brings back
on
to the scene.
feels, doesn't
and I'm
it?
like, oh no, here we go again. But it's the same as when they release the soundtrack to Endgame, and it's what's the track called, Portals. When everyone comes back at the end of Endgame, and it's like, yep, okay, I'm crying now. I'm crying again. Thanks for that.
Thanks, Michael.
Like, I can remember, I think, because my partner's mate, like, really likes these movies, and we just randomly put the track on, and then she turns to me, and I'm starting to like tear up halfway through the track. And she's like, "Why?" It's just like, I can't see it because you haven't seen any of these yet. Spoilers. And even a cut to black, you just don't really get that anymore.
No, you don't.
No. I mean, yeah, that shot's a bit.
It's very Blade Runnery.
Yeah, but even like, I'm even sat there thinking, he's on that massive screen talking. Would there actually be speakers?
Yeah, I'm not in belief of that, but I love how Blade Runner is with all the rain in the background and the neon lights.
Yeah. Spider Runner.
But at this point, it's Spider Runner. At this point, he's just broken.
Yeah.
He's just a hollow man now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm wondering if there actually is speakers on that.
Yeah.
Or if Peter just quickly hooked up a soundbar.
Mm-hmm. Well, here we come. So, I'm pretty sure I saw a bit of this clip that got leaked onto YouTube very, very quickly before I'd even seen the film.
Mm.
So I think at that point I did already know that there was going to be a shot of a Spider-Man coming through a portal. But the quality is just naturally. I mean, they're always absolutely atrocious. Which I'm never sure if they've just done that deliberately just to make it look like it's
Yeah, maybe.
been leaked. So I did kind of have the impression, okay, we are getting someone else. But again, it's like I wouldn't have minded if they weren't in it. It'd be weird if they weren't, and I'm glad that they're there.
Yeah, it would be very misleading if they released it and there's like a cover with three versions of Spider-Man on it, and
Yeah.
there's one Spider-Man.
Mm. I remember someone saying like, "Oh, well, I mean, why does it take so long for any of the other Spider-Mans to get involved?" I'm like, you know how this entire film, at least this chunk, takes place over a day and a night. Like, they're gonna be running around absolutely terrified right now. Like, if these villains were here for a week, it would be different, but they're literally here for like 24 hours. Yeah, everyone just started screaming, and rightfully so.
Oh, as soon as the
My
mask,
boy.
as soon as the mask came off and it was Andrew
Oh
Garfield,
god,
the
yeah,
cinema lit up.
yeah, they really did. Oh, look at him. He hasn't changed a bit in 10 years. Uh. Na, 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 na. Yes, you are, Andrew. Yes, you
Yes,
are.
you are.
Yes, you
You
are.
are Spider-Man.
Again, it's like, I don't like the movies. I absolutely love him as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Like, it just
It's
really
so
works.
gutting that those movies really couldn't live up to like how good Spider-Man movies actually can be.
Yeah, exactly. I also feel really sorry for Andrew for like doing all the interviews before this movie was even released, not even for this movie, and constantly having to say, I'm not in this movie. I mean, yeah, no one believed him, as hard as he tried to say otherwise.
But I think Tobey Maguire really is at fault for that. Why is Spidey? No.
Well, in fairness, he just isn't in a lot of stuff anymore, so he doesn't even need to do any interviews for anything anyway, so no one's going to ask him, so it's fine.
I have the tingle thing.
And again, the suit. Like, I don't care if it's just like a more streamlined version of the one that's in the Raimi movies, I don't care. It's still the best one for me. Get Spider-Man to fix up the cobwebs. Atrocious. How much of a stereotype is that? Honestly.
Against your own kind. How dare you?
What kind of animal are you? But what I like as well, especially when they bring both of them back, is even just with what they're wearing, you can tell immediately where they are actually in their story.
Yeah.
So, like, he's still in the spider suit because, even as he says later on, he's kind of given up on being Peter Parker. He's just always Spider Man, and him, he's very much on sort of the other way around. He's already found that balance between the two. I mean, Toby's looking a bit not 2007.
Again, I just remember the cinema lighting up
Oh yeah, they did.
As soon as he just saw the face come through the portal, and the cinema just lit up.
Yeah. And like even this, like actually having them two interact, just yeah. Yeah, we're good.
That's how you know.
Yeah.
shooting webs at
Yeah.
each other.
God, they all say exactly the same things in like every single universe. It's like they're all the same person.
He's a menace.
That's easy. And then she wakes up in the morning and finds that the Statue of Liberty's been destroyed, and there's been a whole lot of villains just running around. There's just been explosions and everything.
It's like, yep,
It's like you
going
were
back to
asleep for
bed.
6 or 7 hours. I think even the fact that they are only in like the last hour of the movie, that really
Still
says
got
a lot.
such a important part to play.
Oh
Though.
yeah, like it's not just them suddenly appearing and then they all just start fighting and then the end. Like that would just be the easy one. That's basically how they do it in the Flash,
Yeah,
which that doesn't really work a lot, to be honest.
characters are actually developed here.
Yeah,
So you got these other two Spider-Mans, and they're actually got a role, and not just there because they're Spider-Man.
yeah, and even then they even develop them even further beyond their own moves, especially with Garfield's one, where it's like he's clearly he still hasn't gotten over Gwen, which
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh my god, I just remember like me just like, oh man.
Yeah, I remember like even the cinema reaction to that I can remember was just really really powerful.
It's like even this bit, I just remember like,
Yeah,
man, this movie
just
is
like
just
oh for
killing
God's
me.
sake, you weren't being this like depressing like 40 minutes ago.
But I just love it because this kid's world has just come tumbling down on him
Yeah,
when he's tried to help people.
it's like the longest sort of origin story for Spider-Man we've ever had. It's over like several movies instead of just one, and
Yeah,
I actually really like that. Because yeah, if you're gonna reboot it again, at least do something a bit different.
it's like screw the origin story stuff. We
Yeah.
don't need it. We didn't get an origin story for this version of
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man.
Just all three of them together. Just you wouldn't. It's just fascinating because yeah, no one was really big on Garfield's movies even at the time. So the fact that you can still get that kind of reaction from all three of them being in the
It just
same
shows, doesn't
scene,
it? Yeah.
yeah, it's like no, we never disliked the casting at all. It never was that.
Never was casting problems.
No,
It's just the film itself, which is a shame.
yeah, just the writing. Just well, there was writing.
Yeah, there was
I'm sure
writing.
there was. There was definitely something written on a page. I don't know.
But
I
I
don't know
think
if
put
it
it
was in
this way, like
English.
this, Andrew Garfield's character is better in this movie than his own.
Yeah, to be honest, I think it was of the three of them. I actually think Garfield might be the best one of the three, even in
Yeah,
this, because he's only here for a like 20 minutes, half an hour, and he packs so much emotion into it. When any other actor would have just been like, "I'm not really in this a lot. I don't need to push this." Like I can remember when they did the Day of the Doctor, and David Tennant was talking about how he dialed back his own performance because he didn't want to overshadow Matt Smith, and I was like, that's a bit of a weird sort of decision, really. Like just
yeah.
and that's why that version of the Doctor is so downplayed in that special. Definitely not the first time I do a Doctor Who reference, or at least a multi Doctor one with No Way Home, because it kind of feels like the biggest budget non Doctor Who sort of multi Doctor thing ever.
I love this scene because they're all just torn together by grief.
Yeah, exactly. Like even him saying like he just stopped pulling
Uncle
his
Ben,
punches.
MJ, May.
Yeah.
It's like all three of them have that in common, grief.
Mhm.
But to be honest, he has the worst of it. Andrew Garfield's
Oh
Spider-Man,
yeah.
Gwen, and Uncle Ben.
Mhm.
Like, granted, the other two have suffered tremendous loss, but
Yeah.
this guy's just holding it together.
Mhm. But also this hints at what I would have liked to have seen with a like an Amazing Spider-Man 3 is that this is like a more vengeful version of Spider-Man. Like I'd be totally down for that.
Oh yeah,
And even just that, like, because yeah, our version of Peter is legitimately thinking, yeah, I actually want to kill the Goblin. But it's like, yeah, kill him. It's not going to help anything.
yeah.
Like she's still gone. And you buy that. You absolutely buy that.
It's just so broken. It's the only thing that he knows what he wants to do now.
Yeah.
Just so pent up with rage.
Yeah, because we're people. It's like one of those things,
Yeah.
like, it's just a...
Like, that is a person reaction.
Yeah.
There's more to him than just being Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And that bit, just
Oh.
everyone was just like, holy hell. They said it.
See, even right now, I'm starting to choke up just thinking about it. Because, I'd like this commentary to not just have like a moment of me just being like, no, I can't do it, I can't do it.
But it just feels like there is such a good balance and tone here.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, all the bleakness, there's actually something to come out of it. And it's not all happy-dappy. Being a superhero shouldn't be all happy-dappy. There should be consequences. Even
just that bit when he's listened through what each of the cue things is supposed to be for each person, he doesn't actually say the one for the Goblin, just like, So even then, he's still like, he might actually do that. And it's just, again, I don't care if it's like 15 years on since the last time we saw them, it doesn't really matter. Like, seeing them three, see even that of them just nearly crashing into each other. But it does kind of go back to, like, Spider-Man's always been the smart kind of, like, hero. And you see that here.
I love this bit. And I killed him.
Oof. He died in my arms.
It's absolutely like, huh?
Oh, God. It's like, do I actually want to help? I don't know if I want to help now.
I'm just do
I just go and hide in the corner? Decisions.
Well, I'll maybe just go build the Lego Death Star again.
Just like, if his girlfriends and best friends keep on dying, where the hell does that leave me?
Where do I fit in?
Yeah, I'm absolutely fine. I'm just really glad I haven't got any special powers. It's just no responsibility for me. Lucky duck. Again, I think what really helps is that I'm sure even at this point still, similar to what was going on with Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, I'm sure these two were dating at this point as well. So that chemistry does feel
made
really
a hell of a lot
natural.
easier.
Yeah.
Natural.
Oh, I feel sorry for Andrew.
Oh,
every single shot
time.
is just, I'm sad.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it, Andrew. I get
Because it's the moment you see them together and you see him looking over, you just think, Gwen.
Yep, bugger.
And then you're like, every emotion is hitting me right now. I feel like the plot of Inside Out right now.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, their relationship I've never been the biggest fan of. But I think it's especially after Spider-Man 3. Like, that just gets... Okay, we're going to ignore that. We can just focus on that bit. I love that they do the pointing meme. It
felt like
I
such
need
a
that in
dream
my life.
come true. They're like, Peter, I'm Peter. You're Peter.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things where, like, it's fan service, but, like, so what? You're a fan. Be serviced. Like,
yeah, like if I wasn't a fan, why would I go see Spider-Man?
Yeah, it's like...
So I think there were like some really petty critics who were just like, yeah, it's nothing but fan service. Like, well, okay, and?
Mm-hmm. And trust me, this version of Spider-Man has had it a lot.
Yeah.
Because people say, oh yeah, well, I mean, he's been able to get tech from everyone else. I'm like, yeah, So what?
I love it. It's like, that came out of you? Yeah,
Yeah.
do you guys not have that?
I'm sure when James Cameron was being eyed up to direct a Spider-Man movie in the 90s, I'm sure he was the one that came up with the idea of organic web shooters because he thought like actual web shooters
Yeah.
wasn't very realistic, and I'm like, he's bitten by a spider and gets half spider powers. That's not realistic either. Like, what on earth are you on about, James? Yet again. So in the comics, I'm sure Ned Leeds actually becomes the Hobgoblin.
Ah.
I'm sure there's concept art of them maybe sort of inching closer towards that in this one, but I thought, nah, doesn't really.
Don't you dare.
No.
Don't you dare, Ned. Peter's been through enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, J.K. Simmons and just that Spider-Man.
Yeah. Pernicious propaganda. Now, I do like this other version of the Daily Bugle where it's not a newspaper, it's just basically
It's just like an online blog, more or less.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what was it? Oh, I forget what it was like InfoWars or something, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Which was just some absolute like garbage internet stuff, internet propaganda stuff. So naturally, I like this. That's what they do with the Daily Bugle in this. Because even when they do it in Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's like I don't buy it. So it's kind of weird how like the first X-Men film also ends with a fight on top of the Statue of Liberty.
I know that statue has really gone through some war.
Yeah. Or
like,
even
oh,
in the video game version of Spider-Man 2 from 2004, there's a fight with Mysterio on the Statue of Liberty. But it's like it's like just like a giant version of Mysterio instead of the Statue of Liberty. And I was like, oh man, that's really cool. I don't particularly like the idea of them putting the Captain America shield on the Statue of Liberty. That's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm just like, we don't really need Captain America referenced in a Spider-Man movie, but
Nah.
you know, what the hell.
You know, actually, I think the best scene in this entire movie is just this one of the three of them talking.
You get
and
back
even,
problems too?
Yeah. So as part of this scene that was leaked, like I think 3 or 4 months prior, and no one could really tell if it was actually legit or not. It's the point when Garfield saw like kneeling like on the side of the girder, and there was enough reason there to think that it might have been fake, because it's literally like 3 seconds long, or something like that.
Yeah.
So you could think, oh, maybe it is actually fake, but then they're like, well, looking at his hair, looking at his facial hair, looking
I
at the
think like the
suit.
only leak I saw was just the image of, well, obviously, this being, visual.
Mm-hmm.
Was just all of these on the scaffold and with the blue screen behind it, but you couldn't see the other two very clearly.
Yeah, it was like the shot of the three of them when Doctor Strange comes back. I
Yeah.
remember seeing that leaked as well, and I was like, Yeah, it was that shot there.
Does it come out of your wrist or does it come out
Just
anywhere
like,
else?
based on season 4 of The Boys,
yeah,
it actually does. And it's absolutely horrifying.
Oh, it is. Don't even remind me, man. That was disgusting.
Ugh. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, he was purple.
Right. Okay. That suit was legit. I love that idea of rhino. It was like just like making a big mechanized rhino rather than just a guy in a rhino suit.
You are the amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, I also needed that. Andrew's there. There we go. Yeah, so I quite like that they're able to find a way to do this sort of weird, sort of like electrical art kind of mask for Electro. What are you talking about? You've murdered tons of people. Like it's not just you're suddenly a murderer now.
The murder is my game.
Yeah.
It's
And of
alright,
course it
Ned.
doesn't work.
It happens to everybody.
Yeah, honestly, at that point, I would still just run away. I would just go and find a car and just hide in it.
I mean, if there was a giant prehistoric lizard chasing me, then yeah.
What? You mean like this one that's just suddenly turned up?
Yeah, I would be really trying to close the portal.
Yeah. Well, you probably wanted a little bit more. Yeah, he's not wrong. Well, I'll tell you what's even weirder is actually, like, him quipping, yeah, fine. Yeah, that's also really weird, like, here in the Raimi version, just also doing quipping. Like, it was weird even in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
It's like, this doesn't suit you too much, but also because you always look like you're in, like, the permanent age of 40. It's also surprising that there's no sort of comment from the Maguire Spider-Man about the fact he's fighting the Lizard, who's Kurt Connors, and then he's got a Kurt Connors in his universe who hasn't quite become the Lizard yet. But I do like the fact that they can't work together quite well yet.
It's like, we've got teamwork, guys. Teamwork.
Yeah. Oh, the amount of crap I see online, even about this movie now, and it's always just about the Maguire Spider-Man mask, and they're like, oh, well, it's not the same as the one in the previous movies. I'm like, yeah, it's 15 years on, he's probably just tweaked it.
Yeah, like anybody would.
Yeah, it's just like, if you don't like it, that's fine.
Like,
but like, the idea of like, oh, well, it's not accurate to the third movie, I'm like, there's a lot of things that aren't accurate to the third movie.
I love the little, like, reprised Sandman theme as well.
Oh yeah, I love the theme tune for Sandman. But I've always said to myself, I think the best, like, music from those three movies is the ones in Spider-Man 3. Which is Christopher Young of Hellraiser fame.
Which is mental.
Yeah, but then you've got Danny Elfman, who also does horror, so...
Yeah. I don't want to brag, but I was in the Avengers. What is that, like a band?
Yeah, I like that there's no Avengers in their movies. I'm like, so what the hell is Doctor Strange doing in the Ramifications? Or is he just like a magician? And that's it, he's not like hero or anything. Put was hot. Ad-libbed, and I love it. They're all just really, really sweet together. They're just...
But it's just so cool seeing something like this.
Yeah, exactly. And again, the reaction even just to this, like, everyone was going crazy, and so was I. I was like, this is actually something I'm seeing with my eyes.
And you've got the theme over it as well. It's just like, man.
Big one, big two. There we go. And just even that shot, yeah, we all know is heavily edited in the trailer, so it only had the Holland version, and then there was, I think, a Brazilian version where you see Lizard getting kicked in the face, but there's no one kicking him.
Yeah.
So I think at that point everyone was like, oh no. Now we know where they are. Whee! Just like, hey there, hello again.
Hi.
Hi. And
again, I got it.
But I still like, even after, like, this entire thing isn't even them really fighting them. It's just we're still trying to help them despite everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I still like that. Wee. Yeah, I still think of the three of them, I think Garfield always had the best quips, easily.
Yeah.
The best thwip quips.
Thwip.
Thwippy quips. I like how even the design of that looks like the particle accelerator in Spider-Man 3. I like that
I
sort of
picked
nod.
up on that as well.
Yeah. And then, yeah, of course, this is Spider-Man 3 now, with the footage.
Again with the theme as well.
Yeah, I've always liked the theme. It's a good theme. Yeah, I think it's quite well implemented using that. I mean, yeah, if you know which Spider-Man... I mean, I watched Spider-Man 3 an unhealthy amount as a kid.
Yeah, I bet.
So, like, yeah, I recognize the shots. I'm just that sad. It's like, I recognize that,
I
recognize
definitely
that,
haven't
recognize that.
watched it as much as you, but I did pick up on stuff quite easily from
Yeah.
obviously watching it.
But to be honest, I don't mind, because it still works at the end of the day. Like, would I have liked to have seen Hidden Church as is now? Yeah, sure, but it still works. I don't mind. I mean, I think the fight with Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2, at least visually, I think is more interesting.
Yeah.
But then, visually, that movie is probably still one of the best looking Spider-Man movies we've gotten. Full stop.
lizard thinking noises.
Why does that suddenly just make me think of Deep Thoughts with the Deep? Weirdly. There's a lizard! Bloop, 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 bloop. See, now I'm just thinking of the shot in the Amazing Spider-Man with them fighting in
the corridor.
Well, the corridor and especially the library.
Oh, the library.
Where that's like
fun.
I still think that's still one of the best Stan Lee cameos ever. With just like the headphones.
Yeah, just...
like you had one chance to make that an advert for Sony headphones and you didn't do it. Like, come on, Sony. What? And I do like the bait and switch here, where it's like, yeah, he could actually still be evil. Nope, it's fine. Yep, I like that.
The old bait and switch never fails.
Yeah. Yay, I'm fine now. Oh, joy. Nah, sorry, I don't care how many times I try it. I still don't like that design. I just don't. Whee! I mean, if I'm gonna get pedantic, I think it would have been nice if it was the Garfield one that did this.
Yeah.
But then I guess Garfield gets to save MJ, so that's fine. So we're okay. Oh yeah, now it works.
Where is he?
Benedict Cumberbatch is the Batman.
I think it would have been funny if it was like, Parker, now.
See, now I'm getting like a like a Homelander vibe to that now. Yep, again, recognize that shot as well, but again, I'm just nerd.
On the rooftop, yep, I know.
Yes, I know. Yes, I did. What of it? Yeah, so the first time that them two actually properly talk. No, he's in his 30s or 40s. And he's like, oh man, I'm sorry. To be honest, I think if there was ever going to be a version of Spider-Man that was going to be the one that's sort of like mentoring Miles, I actually think the Garfield one would work now.
Oh yeah.
I think you could absolutely do that. I think I'd be happy to see a future Spider-Man movie that's set in the Amazing Spider-Man universe with Miles. That'd be fine. But also, after all these movies, I'm like, why not?
Yeah, why
No
not?
reason why not. Stop making me cry. For the love of God.
Stop.
Bloody
with
John
the
Watts.
feelings. I've been dangling over the Grand Canyon for 12 hours.
That's that shot. That picture was leaked as well.
It's strangely Spider-Man.
Just like, oh my God, I'm so confused
Peter
right
1,
now.
Peter 2, Peter 3.
Whoops a daisy.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
The lines.
Yeah. Yeah, all I do is just give him a hood, give him a pair of goggles, and yet somehow
It's even more intimidating.
it just looks better. Yeah. Yep. Whoops a daisy.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, we gotta get rid of the shield. It was only just starting to get stupid. Yeah, everyone I was talking to, even myself, thought, yeah, at this point, this is when Garfield's gonna save her.
Oh yeah, I think it was like an inevitable thing, wasn't it?
And I was like, yeah, you know what? It works. Ends his arc, and I'm just broken afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, it's just like, he saved her, but he couldn't save his.
Yeah.
And then when he
It's
starts
like,
tearing
oh
up,
my
I'm just
God.
like, oh.
It's like, again, he had absolutely no obligation to be as good in this as he is.
No.
But it works. I like it. And again, consequences. Yeah, I don't really need to see him with the cape. It looks a bit weird, to be honest. Yeah, what a mess. I think even now, this is still the only time I've even been particularly interested in the multiversal stuff in this franchise at this point.
Yeah, I think it's the best here. Like, I mean, yeah, although like all the hints and stuff like that, I'm more down for it here than anywhere else.
Yeah. I gotta say, I mean, it might have been good in Loki. I don't know. I didn't watch it because I didn't care.
I think it's good here because it's like anything can literally happen here.
Yeah. But also, emotionally, you're still with it. It's not just, hey, look at all the cameos, look at all the appearances we can do. Like, even the second Doctor Strange film does that. I remember the more I think about that, the more I really don't like it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the direction of the sun's starting to confuse me a bit here. I was like, is it up, is it down, is it up, is it down? Ba-ding. And yeah, again, just with them two, the fight is all physical again.
I remember seeing the behind the scenes for this, and it's just like such a spectacle. Like, choreographing a fight scene must be so hard to do, especially for like something as big as Marvel.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, because there would have been the easy thing to do is be like, oh no, we're just going to do like a lot of CGI.
But it isn't though, that's what is so brilliant. The CGI is literally just the fists landing and stuff. It's all mimed and...
Yeah, exactly.
Which is just brilliant.
It's the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, he's probably not going to kill him, but like, you do feel like he is actually going to come very close.
And I think he pretty much does, like, I mean, he's ready to bloody cave the dude's skull in.
Like, there we go, just right in the face. But I like that. Because it's a bit like with Batman for me. I think like Spider-Man's always like teetering on the edge when it comes to morality.
Oh yeah, Batman's something else, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Batman's definitely far more than that. But like,
Of all the Arkham games I've played, Batman is something else, mate.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it just there's something about even again just after all the spectacle. Yeah, it just comes down to just a fist fight again, and I like that because it would have just been easy to do it any other way.
I like it how it's like a lot of the stuff is really muffled as well, so he's just so focused on beating the ever-loving crap out of this guy.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like everything else is sort of inconsequential.
He's literally on the borderline of doing the whole Spider-Man 1 thing. I'm going to kill you with your own glider.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's good. And, of course, it's going to be him that's going to stop us.
Yeah, you got the Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Also doesn't even need to say a word.
Just looks at him.
Mm-hmm.
Great power comes with responsibility.
What? No, maybe I shouldn't say that. They're webs, right?
Yeah, webs.
Everyone shouted, just like, no! It's like, no, they're not going to kill Maguire. They're not going to do that. They're not going to kill the actor, Tobey Maguire.
I mean, he suffered worse.
Just like, you just can't get it with, like, the back problems, whether it's, like, spine problems or being stabbed in the back. Yeah, again, the laugh just, like... I also feel like, considering the amount of force that went into that, I feel like he would have just taken his neck off, frankly. It's like, well, I meant to save him, sorry. Yeah, again, just the voice, just like the slight shift, and it's like, yeah, you can tell it's not him.
See, like, it's just how, like, traumatized it must be for that villain, because he's like, he doesn't know what he's done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are also dying, but you know. Yeah, we get to have the cameos. You see, oh yeah, there you go. There's a bit of Craven. There's a bit of Scorpion.
A scorpion.
Yeah. Just like, why is just like all the Spider-Man villains just all related to some kind of animal? I mean, like, I get it, but it's like you got to come up with something else soon. Like, we're gonna run out of animals to make out to be villains.
Yeah, you got Rhino, you've got Spider-Man.
Yeah. There's another version of Rhino there. Now that's very, very tragic, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I just remember like my heart sinking.
Yeah, I was like, no, come on.
It's like even Steven's like, but even I'd forget you, and
Yeah.
I don't want to forget you.
It's like, we'll always remember Spider-Man, we'll never remember Peter Parker. Now, I'm sure there's probably like a lot of like plot holes and loopholes for this. Don't care, to be honest.
Oh no, I'm just so caught in the moment.
Yeah, like emotionally, it absolutely works. Like, Spider-Man's always the one that has to make that kind of sacrifice. This is the biggest one you could do. Don't call him Steven.
It still feels weird.
No, you won't.
So even like he's tearing up.
Yeah. Because that's like a big
guys.
Yeah. Because that's the last thing as well. Because like odds are that won't just like change it for him. That'll change it for them too as well. Possibly. Like no one will remember.
I mean the rest of the Avengers as well. Like the ones that are left anyway.
Yeah. Oh, just them three.
The trio.
Yeah. Oh, for God's sake. Like, even just that shot, just like them three hugging, like, that's just. That actually happened.
Yeah.
We saw that.
First it was the point, and now it's the hug.
Yeah.
But this bit just makes it so tragic.
Oh, yeah, it really does. And that kind of informs his decision later on to not try and tell her. Yeah, I think.
But again, like he's, as tragic as this, he's doing this for the better part of them.
Yeah, again, it all comes back down to he's always been doing it for them, not for him. He's very, very selfless like that. That also kind of pays off the sort of like joke of whether or not she's dating him because he's Spider Man. That very much confirmed.
Yeah.
No, that's not the case at all.
But so believable though.
Yeah, but I think considering the way the film's gone, there was no other way that this was going to end.
Oh no, definitely not.
Like he could be selfish.
It's like, I could just let like loads of things from other multiverses just come in here and
Yeah.
But no, because he's actually a good person.
Yeah, exactly.
And they won't even remember the handshake either.
No.
So it makes it even more tragic.
It's fine, because I'll never remember the handshake properly. Never.
Yeah.
Such a convoluted handshake.
There's so many complex movements.
Whereas me, I'm just all like, yeah, just that one.
Yeah.
And I do like how like she still says like, yeah, I'll probably still figure it out. I've already done it once.
I know.
I'll figure it out again. Like, no.
It's like, no, you are Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just make it even more tragic.
I know.
Tell me he's not allowed to see it until he fixes it. Evil. Just evil.
Evil bugger.
Yeah, all of them are evil. Every single time. Again, the music really helps. I think it's like a lot of them have been quite serviceable, but I think especially for Michael Giacchino in the MCU, even for the Doctor Strange score, like it's very Star Trek.
Yeah.
But I do really like the version of the theme in this. I think it's far, far better.
Did they send Lizard back just butt naked?
Of course it did, but also he's. I mean, you gotta hope that like the Oscorp Tower is still there at the point in his timeline, because if it's gone, he's falling from the sky completely stark bollock naked.
Yeah.
It's like, so he's still gonna die. It's just like,
what if he just like
a different version of dying?
Like wakes up in the middle of the Osborn meeting room and everyone's just like, oh,
Connors. It's like, yes. What? What are you looking at? It's like, it's a phase, friends. It's a phase. Okay. Oh, you're not meant to say it again. That's not fair. But yeah, you've given him some actual consequences. He actually dealt with it. That's exactly what everyone wanted, and people were still annoyed. So basically, if you're on the internet and if you start getting annoyed with things, just shut up.
yeah.
Yeah. I've had enough of that with Star Wars. I've had enough of that with Doctor Who. I've had enough of it with virtually anything else. And especially with the mask of Tobey Maguire. Good lord.
Nah, it just feels so petty.
Yeah.
Just really picking apart a film for pettiness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gonna pick apart a film, do it for like good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just say, oh well, it's because the mask looks different. Who gives an absolute web, you goblin?
Yeah. So I'm sure someone took a picture of this when they were filming, and people just thought that it was Tom Holland learning his lines for the film because it just looked like he was holding a script.
Yeah, I can get
I
that, to
was
be
like,
honest.
oh,
Like,
I
yeah.
actually quite like that. Also, Spider-Man in the snow.
Hold on, is that Hank Pym?
No,
No, seriously, is that Michael Douglas?
no, it's definitely not Michael Douglas.
No, seriously, that does look like Michael
No,
Douglas.
no, that's actually Michael Muglas.
Michael Douglas. Oh, yes,
Yes,
multiverse, yeah, you
yeah,
know.
it is the multiversal version. He also fell through for some reasons. Like I don't know why, mate. To be honest. Yeah, even that just feels just.
So heart wrenching.
Yeah.
Because he's just wanting to tell us so much.
Last thing as well is that you know he's clearly gone in because he does want to tell them, keep it to them two and no one else. But then you can see that they're happy. You can see that she's been injured. It's like, you know what? No, I've hurt you. I'm not going to hurt you anymore. Even if it means I'm going to be hurt for the rest of my life. Oh, you listening, you creep. Now I definitely don't like you. Yeah, even to pay off for that line. Weirdly. Yeah, I think it would have been a bit of a betrayal of the ending to just have them just find it out again anyway.
Yeah, it would have been. Would have ruined it, I think.
Yeah, I think would have been nice. Yeah, sure, but it doesn't have to be nice for it to work.
Like, not every superhero film has to finish on, like, the nice note.
No.
Sometimes they can just finish the way this one does.
Yeah. And at least means that going forward, they can do something hopefully quite different. They don't need to use MJ again. They don't even need to use Ned again. I mean, yeah, one could argue this entire. Like I said before, this has basically just been the longest origin story to get Spider-Man to where he kind of is in the comics, kind of isolated and alone,
Yeah.
which is just depressing when you say it like that. It's like we must have him on his own. He shouldn't be happy.
he should be. He should be Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Tom Holland is Bruce Wayne.
Except he's not filthy rich and he's an awful.
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, he doesn't need to be rich, but he has everything. Well, he doesn't now.
Oh, in this scene.
Ugh.
Mm-mm.
Almost ends with another funeral. It's like, how many Spider-Man films have ended with funerals? Hint, it's actually like 4 or 5. Bear in mind,
It's just when Happy comes. It's like, how did you know? I'm like,
through,
oh man.
Yeah, it's like through Spider-Man. I was like, oh. What a convenient flower to hide the actual year that she dies. Which I think realistically, I think it would be 2024. So I think it actually would be this technically this year because Endgame's 5 years after. Yeah, something like that. 2022. I don't know. Who cares? She's dead. Saying that, it is interesting that there's no gravestone for Ben. So
Yeah, I know what it's that.
So maybe there isn't one. Maybe there isn't an Uncle Ben.
Maybe there just isn't an Uncle Ben.
Yeah. Well, although saying that, there kind of has to be because I know that the suitcase he has in Far From Home does have his initials on the side of it for Ben Parker.
Yeah.
I was like, oh well.
I mean, maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's just divorced or something. He just went away. It could be anything, you know.
Yeah, maybe he was just horrible.
Maybe he's a future villain. You never know.
Maybe he's gonna be the Green Goblin. No, please don't do that. Yeah, I think actually this actually hurts a bit more, just because I do like them two together quite a bit. Mr. Dickovich. Don't think it's actually him. Be funny though.
So knock at the door. Rent.
Give me rent. It's like I've literally been here for like 5
5
seconds. Rent
seconds.
now. Yep, then he has to start all over again. I will say though, I do really love the suit at the end.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Like even reading the script for it, and it does like specifically reference the fact that it's like an amalgamation of
I
all
love
three of
how
them.
like we went from like the ham radio picking up like police signals to just
Yeah,
a mobile phone.
Yeah, which to be honest, considering you can get police scanner apps,
Yeah.
I'm not shocked. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure even the script ends with Peter Parker is no more, long live Spider-Man. And I was like, wow, that you've really said that now, haven't you?
I know you've really,
I was like,
you've really
Jesus.
set that in concrete, haven't you?
Yeah, but yeah, just Spider-Man swinging in the snow. Yeah, I like that.
And the score as well, like.
Oh yeah, score spot on.
And I just love when they do like really classy finish ups like that.
Yeah. I mean, while I don't really know 3 is a magic number as a song, I think that's a pretty good song to use at the end. Although the shame it doesn't end with an F bomb like the previous 2. There's not really a way to do that though.
Yeah, I don't really think. I think the only way you could do that is if you did like a comedic turn and like he's swinging, goes to fall, he's like, oh.
Yeah. We'll keep this going until we get to the mid-credit scene with Venom. I think we'll stop it after that because yeah, I still really like this one. I don't know if it's still my favorite movie of 2021 though. I think we did say that when we first ever did podcasting.
Yeah, I'll have to think back now, like.
Well, it's like, I mean, rewatching the first Dune earlier this year on the big screen again, I was like, man, this is bloody brilliant.
Yeah.
I was like, that might have taken the top spot. I don't think it has yet, but then I also really love Spencer with Kristen Stewart as Princess Diana. I like that one a lot. What about you though?
Well, I think because I didn't see Dune in cinema, I think this.
No, you didn't, you heretic.
Yeah, I know. And considering I really liked it, I mean, that version of Dune, not the one with.
No, Lord, no.
That one, Lord, no.
That one's got some song choices in that.
That one's just got choices in it, mate. But no, I think this is still probably the best Spider-Man film to date.
Are we including the Spider-Verse though?
Okay. Well, that changes it then. That really changes it.
Because I think at that point you'd probably say that Across the Spider-Verse would be better, because I know you like that one more than Into. I remember that when we were talking about it, I was a bit more conflicted on whether or not I liked it more.
Do you know, it's so hard because I like both of them quite equally, but I think Across is just the best multiverse film we've had from like Marvel.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Because at least it's not just been about all the references and everything.
Like, at least it wasn't like a piss poor Doctor Strange thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, we'll just have Benedict Cumberbatch just fall through multiple multiverses.
Yeah.
That's it, there we go, multiverse. I'm like, no. That is just... No.
That's why I'm really concerned for Deadpool and Wolverine. Because I'm like, please don't do that to that one. Like,
yeah.
It sounds like it might actually work from what I've heard, but, we'll never know, really. This is just weird. To be honest, I can't believe they actually thought, yeah, we'll fold Venom into this. Because that's exactly what
we kind of name dropped him, a guy made out of black goo.
Yeah.
Why not?
But also, like, no offense, I hate this version of Venom. I hate both the movies. Why is this going to be anything better? But also the fact that even the trailer for the new Venom references this in this universe with a version. Well, I think Chiwetel Ejiofor was in Venom 3, who was Mordo in the Doctor Strange movies, and he's not the same character.
Yeah.
And then he's in this, like in this little bits, like after Venom vanishes, and I'm like, has Sony ever looked up the word continuity? Like, do they know that it actually exists? Because I don't think they do. I think they're just like, well, we did make the most successful Spider-Man movie ever made. Like, no, you didn't make it. Okay, you had help, and that help did it. But yeah, again, this also doesn't make sense because he shouldn't know that Peter Parker's Spider-Man yet, because it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So
It's
again, logic. But then the fact that this could have been how they were going to bring the symbiote in, I'm like, no, don't do that. Well, there we are. I'm pretty certain the trailer for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse Madness is not on the end of this.
we don't need to see it.
We don't need to see it.
We've watched the film.
Yeah, we have.
We've seen the film.
Yeah.
It was a film.
It was a film, and we're not exactly the biggest fan of it.
No, we are
weirdly
not.
enough.
Despite its director.
Yeah. Luckily, yeah, I'm still a fan of this one.
Oh yeah.
I'm probably going to be quite careful with how much I rewatch it. I think I.
Well, yeah, considering this is now your 5th time.
5th time in 3 years? Yeah, 3 years. I was about to say 5th time in 5 years. Like, that's fine. But yeah, 5 and 3. That's a bit of a stretch. But yeah, in general, I still really like this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might have to watch Homecoming again because I do really like Homecoming. I hate that thing to Avi Arad. Like, screw him. He's just the worst. Hate him. I've got reasons to not like him. But yeah, hopefully everyone else enjoyed this slightly more rambly thing that we've done. I've certainly enjoyed it, for sure.
Yeah, it's been good.
Well, we're going to have to, because we've got more of these to do.
Oh yeah, we do. We've got like a whole other
Yeah, we
films.
do. Yeah, we've got some other ones coming. So yeah, definitely stay tuned to the channel. Please make sure to like, to share, to subscribe, all of that sort of stuff. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Goodbye.